DSBM was a black metal genre that, in retrospect, was very much long in the making before it became its own subgenre. As I mentioned previously in my Les Legions Noires episode, the French introduced themes of satanic vampirism, melancholy, and depression, all the stuff under that very self-hatred sun. So it was only really a matter of time before someone decided to just take out the vampire stuff and elaborate more on the depression. Right off the bat, the two most commonly thrown around DSBM projects are Leviathan and XASTHUR, two solo projects that showed up at around the same time. XASTHUR showed up in 1995, where Leviathan showed up in 1998. By the way, I guess apparently it's pronounced XASTHUR. I've never heard anyone pronounce it in real life, and XASTHUR does not roll off the tongue as good as I pronounce it, so if I am just saying it wrong, you can make fun of me in the comment section of this video. While Leviathan and XASTHUR are two of the most commonly thrown around names when it comes to DSBM, the band that actually started the genre as a whole is a Norwegian band called STRID. Started in Askim, Norway, STRID debuted in 1993 with their demo End of Life, an 11-minute song that right off the bat laid the groundwork for what you would expect to hear from the likes of a typical DSBM track. DSBM tends to use a very different type of edge compared to a black metal project like Mayhem or maybe even Immortal. Instead of using black metal as a means to piss people off and make shitty music, people still make shitty music, but they use black metal as a means to express their inner turmoils like depression, misanthropy, or just any kind of other mental health struggle, any struggle that isn't trying to make people clutch their pearls. While some DSBM projects have a sprinkling of supernatural elements, there really doesn't tend to be any overt satanic imagery in a lot of DSBM, or at least in the ones that I talk about in this episode. If there are satanic DSBM bands, you can comment them in the comment section below. Going back to STRID, End of Life, it's a bit of a slower paced black metal song. That and the instrumentals, while they do sound a little traditional at some points, it isn't trying to be harsh or fast like you'd typically expect from a black metal release up to this point. So Leviathan is a bit of an outlier when it comes to the overall conversation of DSBM. There's a lot of back and forth on whether or not Leviathan is a legit DSBM project or if it's just a black metal project that talks about depressing imagery. Personally, I think Leviathan's first two albums, The 10th Sublevel of Suicide and Tentacles of Horror, at least those two can be considered DSBM type tracks. 10th Sublevel and Leviathan as a whole has a sound that I prefer when I listen to DSBM, and that is an angrier one. DSBM tends to sound like somebody that doesn't leave their bedroom. They're so hyper-fixated on hating themselves to the point that they want to maybe even hurt themselves. But not everybody deals with this kind of imagery like that. I'm very much one of those people where I'm more influenced by my anger by these emotions. And with an angrier style, it feels, especially with Leviathan, it feels like I still hate myself very much, but instead of wanting to just, hurt myself, I want to hurt other people. Like, I'll burn in hell, but I won't necessarily be burning alone. If that sounded very Jokerish, I am so sorry for how corny that probably sounds. XASTHUR is a pretty good introductory DSBM project if you're just getting into the subgenre. Influenced by the likes of Mutilation and Burzum, XASTHUR also has some more ambient sounding tracks in between your typical metal ones. I just want you to imagine that you're in the forest by yourself with nothing but your thoughts. You're there for an undisclosed amount of time just to escape from the world. You know, the deeper you go into the forest, the deeper you get stuck in your thoughts, and you begin to think about everything, like all your regrets, you know, regrets of the things you've done, things you haven't done, or maybe even almost did. XASTHUR, it kind of puts you in that headspace, and from experience, it's a hell of a trail mix, whether you're on shrooms or dead ass just hiking. DECALIUS, which started in 2019, is another solo DSBM essential that, much like Leviathan, unfortunately broke out of the underground and captured the hearts of white girls who think Nirvana is a clothing brand. Jokes aside, DECALIUS does actually make some pretty solid music. Even though I don't listen to him often, I'd still recommend that you check him out if you're just trying to look for some depressing ass music. LIFELOVER is a band started in 2005 in Stockholm, Sweden. This band is one of many interesting cases I'll be talking about in this episode because they meld the sound of DSBM with a punk/hardcore influence. The band was put to rest for good in 2011 following the tragic death of Jonas B. Bergqvist due to an accidental drug overdose. Oh boy. Silencer is to DSBM what Mayhem is to black metal as a whole. You know more about the stories of the band rather than the actual songs themselves. In the context of Silencer, the most commonly thrown around story involving this band is that Silencer split up due to the vocalist Natram being institutionalized around 2001. There's also an even cornier myth involving Natram supposedly cutting off his hands and replacing them with pig hooves. That being said, I feel like this rumor was more intentionally spread around just for gits and shiggles. Silencer is one of those bands where I'm purely mentioning them for their significance rather than me actually enjoying their music, because Silencer is one out of many DSBM bands where I just hate the style of vocals that accompany the instrumentals. Silencer's vocals aren't your typical deathly screechings of pain or anger. Instead, it's just straight up a guy screaming into the mic. I don't, hate that style of vocals usually. Some people can do it correctly. In fact, there's other bands in this episode that do that type of vocal correctly. The way Natram does it in Silencer, it makes me want to get up and turn the shit off. And then going off of this topic, another band that I'd like to mention is the DSBM project, Sorry. I love the instrumentals, but the vocals absolutely fucking kill it for me. If you love this style of vocals with your DSBM, then I am so sorry that I'm shitting on it in this video. This is my series, and I hate it with a passion. Formed in 1996, Shining is another angrier sounding DSBM band with themes of very violent self-harm and embracing the ways of evil. The guitarist and vocalist for this band is often shit on for being a bit of a cringy edgelord, which, I'm not gonna lie, I'm one to talk. FEIGUR is an atmospheric DSBM solo project that started in 2007. If I could describe the sound of the FEIGUR project, I'd say that you should picture yourself back in the forest again like XASTHUR, but instead of being alive, you're pretty much already dead. You're a ghost that's haunting this forest. PSYCHONAUT 4, as the name would imply, uses DSBM as a way to explore themes of self-destruction through the perspective of drug use and drug abuse. PSYCHONAUT also features some heavy rock elements much like LIFELOVER. TRIST is a solo project that started in 2003 and abruptly ended in 2011. As of recording this video, there was and still is no proper update regarding the well-being of TRIST, though some believe that he's just simply moved on from the project and is just in pursuit of bettering his life. Make a change. Kill yourself. This was another ambient-based DSBM project that started in 2003. Forgotten Tomb is an Italian DSBM project that formed in 1999. Forgotten Tomb plays angrier sounding DSBM. Started in 2021, Blade in Bath has a similar sound to DECALIUS, but with a little sprinkling of black gaze throughout its tracks. Life is Pain released one demo in 2006, didn't elaborate, and then just dipped. This demo tape, also known as Bloody Melancholy, also has a very unsavory album photo, so if you're not ready to look at fresh cuts on somebody's wrist, you might want to sit this one out. End was a solo project that started in 2012 and abruptly ended following the death of the creator behind it, Roman Lemovsky. There is only one full-length album in this project's discography. Started in 2007, APATI only released 2 full-length albums throughout its entire run. This duo band also abruptly ended in 2011 due to the death of its vocalist David Janssen. Woods of Desolation started in 2005 with 2 full-length albums as a filming. Their sound has been described as similar to the likes of Burzum, but with a DSBM twist, also the fact that they just don't sound like shit. That, we have reached the end and pretty much the conclusion of Poser's Guide to DSBM. Right off the bat, I'd like to very much thank a very loyal subscriber, Cole Karstarfin 8743. He practically wrote half my script for this video, and I couldn't have made this episode without him, so I dedicate and owe this whole episode to him, and I hope that if he's watching, I hope you enjoyed my coverage of DSBM, and I'm so sorry that I kept you waiting. I already know that I'm really bad with uploading videos, but this is like the worst offender. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for my second 1K special, and stay tuned for Poser's Guide episode 6. I love you all. Thank you for 1K. Here's to more subscribers. I will see you all again very soon.